bound by the same pain, bound by the same love, bound by the same food, bound by the same environment. The strongest bond that I know of is love. The weakest bond that I've ever come across is hate. It is euphoric, and that's for a fact. Why do we live a lie? Why can't we repatriate ourselves from the states of veracity, from the states of mendacity, into the states of veracity? When we'll begin talking the truth, when we begin telling people the truth, don't we have that obligation of copy-pasting the same or infecting our fellow friend there and there with the same attitude? With the attitude that we are of the same and we bleed the same red. I know not of a person who bleeds white. And if there is one person who bleeds white, then it's up to him to raise up his hand. But since I've got a conviction that everybody else, or everybody, was born with a brain, and that brain is very receptive, and that brain is susceptible to understanding and comprehending facts, then I will not desist from offering that which I'm just about to offer. Growing up in an urban slum wasn't any reason for me not to sprout up and be whoever I wanted to be. I always had the conviction that I am the master of my own destiny. And that's why I took it head on coercion. That's why I was pretty determined and pertinacious enough to tackle my dreams and ambitions head on coercion. That would begin with language, that would begin with mentality, that would begin with attitude towards attaining goals here and there. But what worries me the most, what makes me frantic, is that sole idea, that attitude that is so much ingrained in the brains of over a third of most of us here. When we look at our brothers and sisters on grounds of this tribe or the other, isn't that the greatest heights of stupidity that has encircled us? Why do we allow ourselves to be encapsulated into the same? Should it be today that we call it a day once and for all? People like myself, who were so unfortunate not even to learn their own language, will tell you for free that language is just for communication, but it's not supposed to be used as a tool to discriminate against the others. When my friends, even if I have to recognize them posthumously, even though most of them had to capitulate to death because of the cause and the principles which they were fighting for, and this goes without not leaving them behind, the likes of Mahatma Gandhi, the likes of Martin Luther King, the likes of Thomas Sankara, the likes of Malcolm X, the likes of Nelson Mandela, who donned a different attitude, who donned an attitude that was supposed to liberate this world from the chains and shackles of tribalism, race, and background. How many times that most of us, most of them graduates, haven't been given jobs because of this trivial fact of where they come from? Isn't it the day that we rise up from this slumber and we rise up from this barbaric mentality that has imprisoned our morality? The barbaric mentality that has always imprisoned our morality is the idea that I have to look at this other person as a person who comes from a different race. Why are friends fighting in the public arena? They are fighting because of this mere fact and trivial barbaric mentality of tribalism, that because we don't speak the same language, that because we don't have the same complexion of the skin, that because we don't have the same depth of pockets, that's the same reason that you'll have to push me aside in order for you to achieve your agenda, and in order for me to remain in the same exploitative thrall till eternity. It's high time that, my brothers and sisters, we espouse the principles which Jesus Christ espoused. Jesus Christ, having been born into a Hebrew family and having been wanted to exercise the same by his brothers the Pharisees, by his brothers the scribes, by his brothers who wanted him to seclude and discriminate against the other people, the Gentiles, then I really like how Jesus Christ quipped it to the same and told them, you know what, brothers, I didn't come here to preach for the righteous. But as the Holy Book puts it so clearly, it says that Jesus Christ did not come for the righteous, and no one is righteous in the eyes of the Lord. What you're only supposed to do is supposed to be contrite whenever you have committed an offense, or rather a sin. This gospel has been brought for those people who are meek and humble, and who are ready to accept the gospel as the truth. My brothers and sisters, this is the chance for you to shuffle your feathers and wriggle out of the exploitative thrall and trivial barbaric mentalities, which at some point I call them rapacious because of the way they render other vulnerable, or the so vulnerable, into the state of penury and the state of impecunious, into the impecunious state, while you think like you're doing the right thing.